Hello and welcome to my channel. Today's video we are going to be making this cute mini Frankenstein. His body is no sew, and then we will have to embroider on all the little extra details. And I've also made a plush version if you want to try using a bigger sized yarn and hook. For this video, I will be using a number 4 medium weight yarn, a 4.25 millimeter hook, and 10 millimeter safety eyes. And then for the plush version, I used a number 6 blanket yarn, a 5.5 millimeter hook, and 14 millimeter safety eyes. This is a crochet along, so I will be doing every stitch with you, and I am also providing a drop down at the top of the screen with the pattern instructions for the first 30 seconds of every row for you to follow along with. And if you enjoyed this video, please hit the subscribe button and click that bell. Not only does that help me out, but you'll also be notified every time I load a new video, as well as any likes, shares, and comments are always appreciated. Okay, I think that's everything. So grab your yarn and let's get started. All right, we're gonna start at the top of the head, and because black is so hard to see, I'm gonna use brown. So make sure you're using your hair color, and you can start any way you prefer as long as you have the same amount of stitches in row 1. I'm gonna be doing a knot with a loop on the end, so I'm gonna fold my yarn in half. I'm going to pinch up at the top where my loop's going to be. Take that loop, wrap it around my finger, down, around, and through to create my knot. And I'm going to pinch that loop, and I'm going to slide that knot all the way up so that I just have a tiny little piece of a loop that my hook can fit into. Then you're going to insert your hook, grab your yarn, pull up, and chain 1. And remember, that does not count as a stitch. That just attaches our yarn to our loop. And for row 1, going over top of the tail, we're going to do 8 single crochets into the loop. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then you're going to pull that tail to close that hole if you need to. Grab a stitch marker if you're using one. And for row 2, we're going to do 8 increases, so that's 2 single crochets in every stitch all the way around for a total of 18. So increase 1 and 2, increase 3 and 4, increase 5 and 6, increase 7 and 8, increase 9 and 10, increase 11 and 12, increase 13 and 14, and our last increase 15 and 16. Row 3, we are going to do 1 single crochet, 1 increase, repeat that all the way around for a total of 24. So 1 single crochet for 1, 1 increase for 2 and 3, and then repeat that around. 4, increase, 5 and 6, 7, increase, 8 and 9, 10, increase, 11 and 12, 13, increase, 14 and 15, 16, increase, 17 and 18, 19, increase, 20 and 21, 22, and our last increase, 23 and 24. Row 4, we are going to do 24 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and on our 24th stitch, we're not going to finish that stitch because we're going to change color. So we're going to go in, grab our yarn, pull up, and we're going to leave those 2 loops on the hook. And I'm just going to switch to my black now, and you are going to grab your next color, so whatever the face skin color is going to be. And then we're just going to take our new color, tie it to our old color nice and tight, as close to the hook as you can get it. About 2 or 3 times. Then we can cut our old color. And we're going to bring that new color through those 2 loops to finish off that last stitch of the previous row. Row 5, we are going to do 24 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Row 6, we are going to do 24 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Row 7, 24 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Row 8, 24 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and on our 24th one we are going to change color, so we're going to leave those 2 loops on the hook and not finish our last stitch. And we're going to grab our shirt color, and then we're going to tie our new color onto our old color nice and tight, as close to the hook as we can get it, 2 or 3 times. And we're going to cut our old color. And we're going to grab our new color and pull it through those last 2 loops of our previous stitch of our previous row. Row 9, 24 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Row 10, 24 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and then again on our 24th stitch we're going to change color, so we're just going to grab our yarn, leave those 2 loops on the hook, and grab your pant color, and then again you're just going to tie your new color to your old color nice and tight, as close to the hook as you can get it. Whoop. 2 or 3 times. Then we're going to cut that old color. Grab that new color and pull it through to finish off the last stitch of the previous row. Row 11, 24 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Row 12, 24 single crochets all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Then we're just going to add the eyes now and maybe a little bit of stuffing, so get those ready. And now we're going to find the front center. So this is our back, so we're just going to turn it around, so we're basically in the front center somewhere. And what you're going to do is count down to between rows 6 and 7. So you're, if you can see that, that's your starting loop. That's row 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So right here in between rows 6 and 7, I'm just going to go into a stitch. So I have a hole on each side, there and there. And we're just going to count over 3 holes. So 1, 2, and then in that 3rd hole. And then the same thing on the other side, the hole right beside your, whoops, yeah, oh, I caught it. The hole right beside your pin is 1, 2, and then into that 3rd hole. And then we're just going to put the backs on. And then we'll just add a little bit of stuffing. We have a couple more rows to go. So I want to be able to hold its shape, but I don't want my stuffing to be in the way when I'm finishing off those last 2 rows because we want our bottom to be flat. So that's enough for now. So let's insert our hook back in. And for this next row, we're going to be going in the back loop. So I'm just going to quickly show you that if you haven't done that before. So regularly, you go just into this space right here. You go underneath your 2 loops of your V here. So when you're doing the back loop, instead of going in like this, we're going to come down in between the V right there and out that back loop. So in between the V, out the back loop, and that's going to leave this line of stitching and also make your work kind of go at an angle so it's flat. So for row 13, we are going to be doing 1 single crochet, 1 decrease, repeating that all the way around for a total of 16. So make sure you're going in the next stitch, down through that V, catching that back loop only, 1, and then a decrease in the back loops, 2, single crochet for 3, and then a decrease for 4, single crochet for 5, decrease for 6, make sure these are all in the back loop, single crochet for 7, decrease for 8, single crochet for 9, decrease for 10, single crochet for 11, decrease for 12, single crochet for 13, decrease for 14, single crochet for 15, and our last decrease for 16. And then once you're done that row, you should see this line of stitches here. Those are all your front loops. And for row 14, we are going to do 8 decreases all the way around, just back to the regular way. So 1 decrease, 2 decreases, 3 decreases, 4 decreases, 5 decreases, 6 decreases, 7 decreases, and our last decrease for 8. And then you're just going to slip stitch into the next stitch and tie off. Leave yourself quite a bit of a tail just in case you decide to do something with it. I bring mine up through the top at the end in case I want to hang it or chain or who knows. And then you can always cut it off later if you're going to add a keychain or just have them sit like this. All right, let's add our last little bit of stuffing. Now what we want to do is we want to have him nice and full, but we don't want to have him rounded on the bottom. So we're just going to kind of tuck our stuffing up and to the sides a bit. So just wherever you feel kind of an empty spot, just tuck your finger down in there and smush the stuffing over. I might put a tad bit more in, not too much. Can always add a little bit at the end before we close too. All right, we are going to start by embroidering the mouth, and if you have embroidery thread, use that. I'm just taking my scrap pieces of yarn, and this was 4 strands, but I've already stolen some and I only have 2 left. So all I do is I separate those strands of my regular yarn and then I just pull them apart. So I have one little piece. So there's 1 strand. And we're just going to put that on our darning needle. And normally I go, when I embroider stuff on, I go kind of beside somewhere to tie. But since this guy's so little, I'm just going to put all my ends in through the bottom. And what we want to do is we want to come over 1 stitch inside of the eye over here and 1 stitch inside of the eye over there. So that hole, and there'll be a hole in between. So I'm just below the eye. This is the row that we inserted the eyes in, so I'm 1 row below that. I'm just going to come up, skip that first hole, go into the next hole and come down. And then loosely pull that end because I don't want to stretch my mouth and make it any smaller. And then we'll just tie those ends. And give them a cut. Oh, let's take our stitch marker out. We don't need that anymore either. Now we're going to do the little bolts, and I still have some of this sparkly gray yarn left, so I'm going to use that. And I have, I don't know, about 2.5 feet, just so I have lots of extra and I don't run out, so I can do both sides with the same piece. So we'll thread that on. And we're going to be going around this row right here. So this is the row we inserted the eyes in. So we're going to go around this row just below it. So we're going to come in the bottom. And we're going to go 3 holes from the eye. So 1, 2, 3. So into that 3rd hole. Leave a little bit of string on the end for tying. And then I'm just going to come straight down, 1, 2, 3 from the eye again. And we're going to go around about 4 times. 1, 2, so this will be our 3rd one, 3, and then our 4th one, we're going to go over to the other side because this will make our 4th row. We don't want to come out up here again. And 3 over again. So 1, 2, 3. So into that 3rd. Oh, it doesn't want to go now. There we go. 3. Just make sure you don't pull this too tight. And then straight down. 1, 2, 3. And again, I went towards the eye last time on the other side. So let's do that on this side. 1, 2, this is our 3rd one, and then our 4th one, we're going to come in and out the bottom to tie. And make sure you don't pull that too tight. And then again, we'll just tie those off and cut them. Not too tight, nice and loose so we don't pull them. Now, if you see, one side kind of sticks out a little more than the other, so I'm just going to take my needle, go under all 4 of those strands, and I'm just going to kind of pull and wiggle, pull it out a bit, and then if I have to do it on the other side, just so they kind of bump out nice and evenly. Then you're going to grab some green, about the same amount as you did this for the bolts. Thread that on, and these are going to be the little hands. And I'm going to come just under the eye and go backwards. So I want to be just between, just under where the two purple rows are. So probably right about there. I got the wrong colored needle for this. So just between our two purple rows. And just like we did the bolts, leave a little bit of string down below. And remember, we're going backwards. We're going away from the center for this one. And we're going around this stitch right here. 4 times again. 1, 2, 3, and on our 4th one, we're going to come over to the other side and do the same thing. So just match where you went in on this side. So I'm just kind of below and back a bit. So you could go on that one. We'll see when it comes out which side. If you find out you go one too far, you can always go the opposite way. I think. Actually, well, I'm going to go backwards just cause, but you could have probably went the other way too on this one. 1, 2, 3, and then on your 4th one, down and out the bottom to tie it. And again, if you think one's bigger than the other, or you just want them both to be a little more pronounced, you just take and wiggle and pull under all 4 strands. Give that a tie. Give it a cut. And then I gave him some little brown boots. So again, same amount of yarn. Or if you have some scraps laying around, thread that on. And this time I want to come kind of in the center of the arm and go to the inside. And I want to be right just above that line of front loops that we have. Pull it through so you have a little bit left on the bottom. Remember, we're going this way now because we want them to be a little closer together than the hands. So 1, 2, 3, and then on our 4th one, down over to the other side. And remember, we want to be right in the center of that hand and go towards the center of your little guy. So we're going this way. So just around that stitch like we did the other one. 1, 2, 3, and on our 4th one, out the bottom. And again, if you need to, there's a little wiggle and pull. And then tie them off. Now, I did give my little guy a little stitch mark, but there's not a lot of room for it. So I don't know if you'll want to add it to the little one, but it does work really nicely on the big one. So I'm just going to show you how I did it, and you can decide if you want to scrap it or add it. So again, I'm just adding on to one of my strands that I pulled out of my number 4 black yarn. come up through the bottom, and I came right at the bolt here, just in front of the bolt. And then I think I went just in front of the eye here. No, I went up even higher. And then you're just going to come, so I'm coming in the first stitch right there. And when this goes across, we're just going to make lines going across. So we've got our line. And you want to be careful where you insert it, because if you insert it too close, it's just going to, you're not going to see it very well. So you want these to be longer than you think they need to be. And then when you pull them, they will kind of shorten a bit. So I'm just going down a row and then over 2 stitches. So I went down over 2, go down a row again. I might just try and catch a piece of stitch there so it doesn't get lost. Over 2 stitches, and I did do a third one here, or I guess it's a fourth one. But you know what? Let's not, because then at least it fits my line here. So I'm going to just go back in. So I only did 3. I think I did, no, I did only do 3 on that one. I think I did 4 in the plush one. Alright, so like it's not the best, but that's just a quick to show you how I did it. Then you're just going to tie that again. Do it loosely so you're not pulling on the work you just did. And then we'll cut those a little bit shorter. There we go. So we just got to close them up now. So on my last one I did, I'm not used to doing the tying off in the bottom, and you see this little mess. Now if you have really nice decreases, you're not going to have to worry about this, but if you have loose ones and can kind of see the stuffing in the bottom, just take a little tiny piece of stuffing and you can just cover up those ends and you won't see them. That might have been too much, but so there. So now you won't see all those different colors at least poking through. And now we're just going to take our needle and we're going to weave back and forth in all these top loops to close this up. And if you are using the plush yarn, do a third or a half and then pull them tight and then do the other, because that yarn does break really easy. And going through all 8 is a lot for the plush yarn. It will most likely break on you, and we don't want that. So you'll just, when you got to here, give it a pull and then finish going around some more, give it a pull. But if you're doing regular yarn, you don't have to worry about it. I just pull that closed, and then I just tie it in the next stitch. And then I'm going to go up the middle and then out the top. And this is what I meant by leaving yourself a tail. If you want to hang it or turn this into a chain and make a loop, or even tie a loop on here and then hide the end down inside if you don't have any keychains. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, please hit the subscribe button and click that bell. Not only does that help me out, but you'll also be notified every time I load a new video, as well as any likes, shares, and comments are always appreciated. I'd also like to say thank you to everyone who has been so kind to have hit the thanks button and sent me such generous donations. You will now be listed at the end of all my next videos as my super thanks friends. Take care, be safe, and happy crocheting.